Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, click the bell icon to be notified when we upload new videos.
Hello there. I'm Sharlene Wallace, and I am thrilled to be here with you, the Harp Gathering, to share with you my love for scales. I know, scales. Yes, scales. I am Sharlene Wallace, and I love playing scales. What a beautiful, fluid, and flowy way of getting from one note to another. A wonderful vehicle for momentum. Beautiful articulated filler notes, organized and satisfying. It makes sense. The word scales comes from the Latin word scale, meaning ladder or stairs. I find playing scales during my practice time to be like a meditation, a time to slow down, allowing me to really listen to hear those sound waves that I am creating, to actively listen to the in-between, to hear the actual sound length and shape of the notes played. And hugely helpful, practicing scales offers me the space to take care of business, which means to take care of my technique, which is the mechanics of harp playing. And taking care of business necessitates checking in on my hand form and finger mechanics and reminding my fingers and hand to relax, release. All of these technical things, of course, are helping the sound and our connection with the sound that we are creating. Many pieces of music include scales. Perhaps one could say most. Two notes side by side are a two-note scale. There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-note scales, multi-octave scales, just like the 2.5 octave scale you heard in Dream Habanera at the beginning of this video. This fastish scale is a beautifully articulated and detailed moment of momentum, of anticipation into the next phrase. For today, I am happy to offer just a wee glimpse of a boundless world of scales that I love exploring. And so here are my scaling thoughts, meditations, and exercises on scales. In gathering my thoughts and wits to prepare for this workshop, I realized that I could scale down this 40 minutes into 4 words. Awareness, form, mechanics, sound. Have awareness of your hand form. What is your hand shape and form doing while you play? Is it stable? Is it relaxed? Is it consistent? And an image I like is of a turtle shell on the back of my hand. An image to maintain the hand in its stable position while fingers open and close and while fingers cross under and over unless oscillating is called for. Don't toss the turtle on its back. Part of awareness of hand form is placing versus playing. How you are placed can determine the sound and ease and readiness of playing. Place directly to a stable, relaxed, and well-formed hand position. Check how you are placed. Check your hand form. Relax, release in your hand and in your body. Then off you go in and play. Have awareness of the mechanics of playing. What are your fingers doing in your playing of your scales or your playing in general? In other words, are your fingers opening and closing the way that you want them to? Is there something in playing scales that is hard or awkward, making your hand change its form or making it super tense or distracting you from enjoying scale moments in your pieces? Is there ease in the mobility of your fingers? Are you able to incorporate relax, release in your hands and body? Can you relax, release after each note that you play? Relaxing in the finger webbings, getting in touch with your inner duck. Relaxing in the palm of your hand, forearm, oxters, shoulder joints, hips. And do you have awareness of the sound that you're creating? Is your sound and sound goal to have a beautiful tone, even and fluid? Listen for and hear the sound that you're creating. Are you listening to the in-between? Meaning hear and feel the decay and shape of the resonance of each note sound after you play a string. Awareness is feeling, noticing, and knowing what and how you are playing and making a sound the way that you want. This consciousness and intent is purpose. When you practice, it helps to have a concrete plan, a strategy, even an actual list of ways of practicing your scales, and to have an understanding why you are practicing them. Why, oh why does it help us to practice these lovely morsels of beauty? Scales. Yep, I'm still talking about scales. Whether we practice traditional scale exercises up and down, one octave, or whether we are using specific scale passages from our pieces, incorporating special time with our scales can be super helpful for the following. They help us with stability, finger coordination, strength, evenness, flexibility, speed, agility, ease, and ultimately control of our playing. Our 4-note scale hand position is the foundation of our harp playing. And scales comprise so many parts of thousands of pieces that we can potentially play. So practicing them takes care of the fluidity, evenness, speed, ease, and agility of playing all those parts, as well as other bits of the pieces. Practicing the scale passages from our pieces as exercises connects our technique and tonal base consciously and unconsciously with the actual music that we play, and helps the useful reality and understanding of how and why practicing scales, or any exercise for that matter, relates to our playing and gradual improvement and ease of playing the harp. I've chosen the beautiful Welsh song All Through the Night. It's a really poignant piece of scales. I'm going to tell you a little something that I call resting in my playing. Resting is a tactic that I personally have found super useful for accuracy and knowingness of technically hard passages. Resting means stop, check your hand form, and relax, release at every placement and replacement, feeling that stable hand position. So let's just try all through the night. I'll play it through just a little bit of it, just to bring it back to your memory, or so that you know what we're talking about. And just notice my right hand, if you can notice the scales that this piece is presenting to us. So the piece starts with a 3-note scale descending from C above middle C. I'm playing this in the key of C major. So that is the tonal base. The C major is the scale of this piece. It's a C major scale, up and down, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do. And the tonal base, the scale, it's all part of this experience of scales. So the piece starts with a 3-note descending pattern from C, down a step, then goes up a third. And then from C to D, I actually see that as a 2-note scale, and then down a 3-note scale, and then a skip to G. And then a 4-note scale ascending right back up to C from G. G, A, B, B, C. The middle section of the piece starts on a 2-note scale descending from F, down a step to E. 2-note scale down. And now a 4-note scale going up from E up to A. And a 4-note scale coming down from A. Thumb goes to F, 4-note scale down from F. 4-note scale down from E. And then we're back to the beginning of the piece. 3-note scale down from C. 2-note scale, C up to D, 3-note scale down from D, skip to G, and a 4-note scale up from G. Now, to use my resting way of placing, so every placement or replacement, we stop, check our hand position, and relax, release. So the first pattern, 3-note scale down. Now we're changing direction, place, check your hand position, and relax into the form of your hand. Changing direction, replacing the fingers. So replacing the fingers, D, C, B, G, check your hand position, and relax. We're replacing fingers, a 4-note scale up from G. Check your hand position and relax. And I'm not specifying what parts of the hand position. I'll leave that up to you, depending on the technique that you know. For me, it's just a gently uplifted thumb, rounded fingers, relaxed in my finger webbings, relaxed in the palm. And just, this is always my hand position for scales. And up we go. And B, C to end. That gives you a little bit of insight how to negotiate some scales and pieces. and also just playing scales. For example, if we're going to go up and down, just up 4 notes, down 4 notes, a 4-note scale. Replace the fingers, check your hand position, and relax. Replace fingers, check your hand position, and relax, etc. So I'm going to list off, just because of the brevity of time allowed, I'm going to list off a number of scale practice ideas for you. Hands together, of course. Hands separately, of course. Right hand by itself, left hand by itself. This hand separate is super useful. You all know this, to hear and feel the needs and beauties of each hand clearly. And left hand, I recommend doing like tunes that you do in the right hand, do them in the left hand. Scales are great because it keeps the left hand honest in terms of its agility and ability. And so as something I do occasionally is I'll have a left hand day. So I do, that's all I do are exercises in my left hand and then exercises of my pieces or left hand patterns or just improvising with my left hand. And the right hand has a little bit of a holiday. So here's some more scale practice ideas. We have 4-note scales. We have 3-note scales. We have 2-note scales. We have 5-note scales. So we have only 4 fingers. So there's a couple of ways we can negotiate this. We can do it by going up with slides, a 4th finger slide, going down a thumb slide. We can also do a 3-finger scale followed by a 2-finger scale. Or a 2-finger scale followed by a 3-finger scale. So, and with all of those, like obviously 4-note scales, we're used to doing 3-note scales. Remember, all through the night, start it with a 3-note scale. So just do a series of, so you're comfortable with, and then 2-note scales, kind of feels pretty weird, etc. We can do scales 1 octave up and down. We can do 1.5 octave scales. These are sort of what I think of as the formal scale. And then 2 octaves plus 1 note. I personally like to do either 4-finger scales or 3-finger scales separately in the exercises, instead of accommodating for the fact that we have 4 fingers and when you go up 2 octaves, you're going to be playing an extra note. It's okay. I'm good with that. But as you wish. Also, just doing scales in the upper 2 octaves of the harp. This is an area of the harp that I guess I personally wish there was more space for my hand to fit in there. So just doing series of, or like maybe have a day where you just do your exercises in the upper part of the harp to get used to it, to feel comfortable, so you're not going, if depending on how you're sitting and such, you can just lean back a little bit to fit the left hand up here. And remember, the higher you get, you want to lead with the elbow up so that you don't bring the elbow down in the hand and then you end up with a swan for a hand. So leading with the elbow. Also, why not do scales? We always do scales bottom up and then down. Why not start at the top and go back up? And that brings us into different intervals that your hands are between. We can do 1 octave apart. Let's see. That's what we're used to doing. What about a 5th apart? What about a 6th apart? Let's try that. So left hand starts on C, right hand is on A. A 10th apart. 10ths are really nice. So left hand for, let's do it on F for an F scale, Lydian mode. So left hand is on F, right hand starts on an A, an octave and a bit above, an octave and a third, in fact. And a 12th apart, left hand on C, right hand on G. Octaves apart. All of these things are, not what we do often. And when we do something that we don't do often, that's a little bit awkward, and it takes maybe a week to get a little bit more used to it, or just a day. We improve our ability and our flexibility around playing the harp. So continuing with scale practice ideas. Oh, one other thing, put the left hand, this really kind of wigs out my hands, right hand below left hand, and do a scale going up. Dynamics, play around with different dynamics, conscious, predetermined dynamics. Not the kind created because of weak fingers. So choosing piano. So let's do a D scale, D modal scale, 1 octave quietly. Sometimes I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that I have control over my voice. I've been using my voice for a really long time, so I can control my voice to say at a monotone quiet or loud, depending on what dynamic you've chosen. And then your fingers are following the dynamic level of your voice. You can also, it's really helpful to do with crescendos. Let's try that, starting on D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just a cool little thought. So that your fingers are kind of negotiating to like desperately match your tone of voice, or your volume of voice. Also, don't forget to play your scales with beautiful phrasing and with love in your heart. Tempo. Predetermine the tempo that you will be playing at. Embrace your metronome or drum machine or beat maker to keep you company while you play. They will keep your pulse honest and true. Also, incorporate slower practice because it allows your finger brains and your big brain to not get overwhelmed. You have time and therefore the focus to notice, to remember things, and be aware and conscious of what you are doing and how you are doing it, but also practice with incremental speeds. So sometimes I'll choose a tempo on the metronome, do a scale up, down, and then I'll go up 2 notches. This also applies for pieces that you're trying to increase speed for. And as soon as and each increment, you aim for 1 perfect run through, and then you can up it, or you can just sit there for three times at that one to get comfy to it, or 5 times, or 10 times. Play your scales with different rhythms, such as rhythmic accents, long, short, and short, long. This section of different rhythms, I could probably spend an hour just talking about this, but I'll just quickly run through for you, just to give you a little overview of different fun rhythm things that you can do with your scales. So rhythmic accents, long, short, and short, long. The long note is loud, kind of accented, and long. And you just relax immediately after. In the short note, you just go for it, short and light and easy. So that looks like long, relax, short, 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 long, and then you reverse it. Short, long, relax, short, long, relax, short, long, relax. Check your hand position, relax, short, long. So you're actually playing, it's kind of like playing every other note really, really fast. And then recovering, check your hand position, relax. And then, and you're moving, you're placing, replacing very quickly, and then just kind of chilling out. Rhythmic accents are excellent for strengthening and giving attention to the weaker members of our hand. Rhythmic accents are also good for negotiating the turnarounds and cross-unders and overs, which is a huge bonus. Those are the sketchy parts, and that I could spend a workshop just going over those awkward parts of the scale. So more rhythms, a pulse of 4, 1. So it's kind of like a crocodile pulse. Crocodile, 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 Notice I'm now kind of pulsing on finger 2. Crocodile, 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 crocodile. And then you can do the same things. So when you start at the bottom, it kind of pulses and puts emphasis on finger 4 and 2. And if you start at the top, crocodile, 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 finger 3, and back to thumb, etc. So you kind of take care of all of your fingers, of giving them attention, essentially. You can also pulse in 3. So that was pulsing in 4, the crocodiles. You can also pulse in pineapples. Pineapple, 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 etc. Habanera rhythm. So habanera, front, like in my dream habanera that I wrote. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 3, 4. So that's the rhythm. Let's do a scale. Let's do a G scale, a G major scale. Why not? G major scale. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4. So if you're learning a habanera, like Alfredo Ortiz's amazing habanera Grease, why not do scales? Why not do all of your exercises in habanera rhythm? and which is also you can clave, because it's related. A 3-2 or 2-3 clave, you could do the rhythm to. What about in groups of 5 or 7? So in 5, we base it in a group of 3 plus 2. So gentle pulsing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. One hand is doubly fast than the other. So if my right hand goes, I will attempt to make my right hand go twice as fast as my left hand. So my left hand actually just short turned on a 1-octave scale, while my right hand did a 2-octave plus a note scale. You could also do that swung. Play your scales in different time signatures, like a jig or a waltz. Let's see, what would a waltz be like? Let's do it in a tenth. 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. That was the 6/8 time. And then we have the fun of polyrhythms, 2 against 3 or 3 against 2 or 4 against 3 or 3 against 4. I'll just quickly help you to negotiate the 2 against 3. So if you shmush, like the right hand is playing, for example, 3 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And the left hand is playing 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And I recommend you always keep the same tempo, the right hand, the left hand separately. When you smush those 2 tempos together, it kind of comes out to be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. I'll just do it with 3 fingers. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And left hand would be 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. So now I'm going to do 4-note scale going up and down in that rhythm. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and... Whoops. And should have been in the left hand. So, and then sped up, it's pretty cool. 1. Also, 1 sparrow bird, 1 sparrow bird, 1 sparrow bird, 1 sparrow bird. It's also a cute phrase to do for 2 against 3. Remember, practicing focusing on shorter sections of your music, such as the turn around at the top or bottom of a scale, or that awkward cross under over position, or 1 bar of a piece, allows you to not become overwhelmed with many things to remember to think of, and to have the time and focus to notice that you are playing the way you want and the notes that you want at the time that you want them to be played. For example, just practicing the cross under, cross over position. And this is all about hand form and mechanics and comfort and mostly relaxing. So play, relax your hand, check your hand position and relax. Play finger 4, replace, check your hand position and relax. Play thumb, check your hand position and relax. Check your hand position and relax. To get it comfortable. Let's now put some of these ideas that I've talked about into play using the scale from Dream Habanera, so it doesn't feel like the Nightmare Habanera. I'm going to incorporate a few of the ways that we have looked at so far, including rhythmic accents, triplets, and loud, slow, relaxing after every note, and the restings. So the scale for it starts on E. It goes up to F, and I actually play the last 3 notes, F, G, A of the scale, with just the thumb articulating. So thumb, thumb, thumb. I like that articulation. It's very specific the way I like playing that. So thumb on F, thumb on G, A. Just do that with me so that we have a focus. We know where we're going, and then we'll deal with the scale. So thumb on F, play, thumb to G, and A. And that actually ends up being a root, A, F, A, AFA, yeah, a root 6 octave. But for now, we're just doing F, G, and A with the thumb coming off each time. A, F, good tone. G, listen to the in-between. Hear the F, G, A. Okay, so now let's deal with the scale. Let's do loud, slow, relaxing after every note. Relax. Relax. Check your hand position, relax. 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 Breathe, relax. Check your hand position in the cross under, relax. Play thumb independently, relax. Relax. And even, every note as even from one finger to the next. We're almost there and arrived. Now let's do it one time with the restings. So we're going to do 4, 3, 2, 1, 4 notes and rest. Check your hand position and relax, release. 4, 3, 2, 1. We can actually play 4, 3, 2, 1 easily. Play them quickly and then recuperate. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. F, G, and A at the top. And now in triplets. So 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. But we're going to do it actually in a triplet rhythm. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Gently pulsing, almost an accent to strengthen the weak fingers in the palm. In your hand. And then long, short, the rhythmic accents. Long, relax. Short, long, relax. Notice I get to the next place immediately and then recuperate. Short, long, relax. 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 And then F, G, and A. And then we reverse it. Short, long, relax. 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 Short, long, and G and A. It's comforting. We really know the last three notes of the piece, which is what we started with. So whatever's going on before that, we have comfort of where we're going. And then let's do a light, just go for it. So easy tempo. The first, it actually starts not on the downbeat. So let's do an A in the left hand for the downbeat with fourth finger. So an A at the top. Let's do that again. But this time we're just going to, with momentum and the feeling of getting to the top. So there's your tempo. And let's do it a little bit faster. One, and more practice ideas. One hand does a three note scale, a 3-finger scale, while the left hand does a 4-finger scale. One hand plays a scale while the other plays chords. So you could G chord, F chord, G chord, C. You could do that for the key. So say you have a piece in F major. Why not do all of your practicing of your exercises and your scales in F major, and then play the piece so that you're already in the tonal base and the feeling of the key that piece is based around, and then do an improvisation in F. This scale with the I'm not in F, but C. Say we're in C. So I'm on D, go just like using chord 1, 4, and 5, harmonizing with the scale in the right hand. Similarly, play scales while in the right hand, while the left hand plays different patterns, such as a waltz or a galopa. Let's see what a waltz. So 2. Etc. Contrary motion. Wow. So how many octaves am I apart there? 1, 2, 3 octaves apart. Left hand, fourth finger on C, right hand, thumb on C, walking in towards each other. 1 octave. And then it's like, oh, hurry back to where you came from. There we go. And we're back home to there. Really good for the coordination. Start the right hand, couple notes before the left hand. different places. And then you reverse it so that left hand starts first. Improvisations, using scales, both hands use scales, or one hand plays scales while the other plays chords. So just improvising on scale. Different 4-finger, 3-finger, 2-finger. 2-note scale, up and down, up and down. Thinking of it as patterns, right? Scales are patterns. And muffling, techniques for scales, for articulation to avoid buzzing and clarity in the bass in the left hand. So scales, right? Super muddy. I'm probably going to get some good buzzing going on there. So... And again, this is like for another workshop, but there's a really nice articulation of muting. If you can see what I'm doing, you can do it in the right hand. And also scales in the left hand. Sort of like a bass player. Change the key or starting note of your scale every day. Predetermine this. Have maybe 20 pieces of paper with different keys or modes. Put them in a bowl, and every day pick out of the bowl the key or mode of the day. Similarly, play the scale of one of your pieces. This is, as I was mentioning earlier, before you start working on that piece, and choose out of another bowl of musical delights and suggestions a piece of paper that tells you how to practice the scale. I'm going to finish today's workshop with a cumulative exercise. So this is going to use a few things. So 4-note scale. I'll just do it in right hand so you can see clearly. 4-note clear. We'll do it on C. Up and down twice. 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1 octave up and down. And then 1.5 octaves up and down. And then we're going to do 2 octaves and a note up and down. But we're going to do it in different, you can do it just like that with a metronome, same speed, or you can change the tempo, double time everything. So realistically, let's choose half notes for the 4, 3, 2, 1, quarter notes for the 1 octave, eighth notes for the 1.5 octaves, and 16th notes for the 2 octaves. So how fast do you want to be doing those 16th notes? So maybe, so 1 E and a 1 E and a 2. There's your tempo. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Back down. Check your hand position, relax. And fingers all the way in, return. One more time, same thing. And return exactly in the same spot where you left them. Consistency. Quarter notes, 1 octave. 2, 3. And back down. final thought. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. Or in this case, what is good for scales is also good for chords. That's for another time. Whatever it is that we play on our harps, we can have gratitude that we have afforded ourselves the bounteous delight of music, the beauty and challenges of this instrument, and perhaps the occasional or frequent meditation of a scale. Hug your harp and play a scale. Thank you, Denise and Mike and the Harp Gathering, and warmest wishes to you all.